Have you ever set a goal, worked hard to achieve it, and then found that the sense of accomplishment wasn't as satisfying as you imagined? Or maybe you've noticed that the anticipation of a reward often feels more exciting than actually receiving it. This paradox is deeply tied to a fascinating concept known as dopamine prediction error. It's a powerful psychological mechanism that controls not only your motivation and behavior, but also the way your brain experiences rewards. Today, we'll dive deep into this concept to uncover why your brain often feels tricked by its own expectations, and more importantly, how understanding this can help you boost your motivation and find more satisfaction in life. What is dopamine prediction error? At its core, dopamine prediction error is the difference between what you expect to happen and what actually happens. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter most commonly associated with reward and pleasure, plays a crucial role in this process. But here's the twist. It's not about the reward itself. It's about the gap between what your brain predicts and what reality delivers. When you anticipate a reward, say, you expect to feel a great sense of satisfaction after completing a project or achieving a goal. Your brain releases dopamine in preparation. The more you anticipate, the more dopamine is released. But when the reality of the reward falls short of what you expected, your brain experiences a prediction error and dopamine levels drop. The result? Disappointment. But if the reward exceeds your expectations, dopamine levels surge, leading to a euphoric feeling of joy or excitement. To understand this better, let's look at the science behind dopamine prediction error. A groundbreaking study by neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz in the early 2000s revolutionized our understanding of dopamine. Schultz and his team observed that dopamine neurons fired most intensely when an unexpected reward was received. The brain was literally surprised. However, when the brain received a reward it had anticipated, dopamine levels did not spike as high, and if the reward was not delivered at all, dopamine activity decreased significantly. This finding emphasized that dopamine is not merely about experiencing pleasure. It's about prediction, surprise, and adaptation. This mechanism is essential for learning. It drives your brain to adjust its expectations based on previous experiences. If a reward consistently meets or exceeds your expectations, the dopamine rush begins to fade, and it takes more significant or novel rewards to trigger the same level of excitement. This is why the novelty of new experiences can often feel more exciting than familiar successes. So, why should you care about dopamine prediction error? Understanding this concept can shed light on many aspects of human behavior. First, it explains why achievements sometimes feel empty or less fulfilling than expected. For example, when you reach a long-term goal, the dopamine-driven thrill of anticipation fades, and the reality of the achievement might not live up to your high expectations. It also explains why chasing the next big thing can feel like a never-ending pursuit. The brain's need for novelty and unpredictability means that once you achieve something, it becomes less exciting over time, and you start seeking more intense or unexpected rewards. This constant pursuit can lead to burnout, dissatisfaction, or the feeling that you're always chasing happiness but never quite reaching it. Imagine the feeling you get when you're waiting for an exciting new movie to release. The anticipation, the build-up. Dopamine levels are spiking as you imagine how great the movie will be. But when you finally watch it, it might not be as spectacular as you thought, and your excitement drops significantly. This is dopamine prediction error at work. The reality did not meet your expectations. Or think about the initial excitement of a new job, a new relationship, or even a new hobby. The first few weeks are thrilling, full of surprises. But as time goes on, the dopamine rush decreases. This doesn't mean you should stop enjoying these experiences, but it's important to recognize why you might not feel the same level of excitement as you did in the beginning. Another example is the joy of buying something new. Let's say you've been eyeing a new gadget or a piece of clothing for a while. You finally purchase it, and in the beginning, the excitement is off the charts. But after a few days or weeks, the novelty fades, and you might feel less attached to it. Your brain has adapted to the new object, and the dopamine rush has diminished. The prediction error is real. Practical takeaways. 1. Leverage unexpected rewards for motivation. Instead of relying solely on the expectation of a fixed reward, deliberately introduce unexpected rewards into your routine. For example, set a challenging yet unpredictable mini goal each day, like solving a complex problem in a new way or learning something outside your usual domain. This unpredictability will trigger higher dopamine spikes, as your brain won't be able to predict the outcome, and you'll feel motivated by the surprise. You can do this by randomly varying your tasks or introducing fun, unplanned activities as rewards, like taking a 10-minute break to listen to your favorite music. 2. Create a reward deficit to build anticipation. When you face a task that feels monotonous or unexciting, intentionally delay your gratification. This delay creates a reward deficit, where your brain anticipates a reward for completing a task, and when you finally reward yourself, the dopamine rush will be stronger. For instance, if you have a regular task, like checking emails or cleaning, postpone it for a set period, and once completed, enjoy something truly enjoyable like a delicious snack or a favorite show. This strategic delay amplifies your brain's dopamine reaction. 3. Introduce novelty, but in small doses. Rather than going for drastic changes, introduce novelty in small, controlled doses. For example, learning a completely new skill might overwhelm your brain, causing frustration. But learning a small piece of it, like learning one new concept in a language or a small trick in coding, while you're deep into your current work, can reignite dopamine production. This creates just enough surprise and novelty to keep you engaged without derailing your focus or overwhelming you with too much unpredictability. Use the low expectation, high reward strategy. A powerful tactic for avoiding dopamine burnout is lowering your expectations slightly to ensure a pleasant surprise. Instead of aiming for perfection, set a good enough goal. For instance, if you're working on a creative project, tell yourself that completing it at 80% of your potential is the goal. When you finish it, the unexpected satisfaction of surpassing the modest goal will trigger a dopamine release that feels far better than striving for perfection, which can lead to disappointment if unmet. 5. Employ dopamine cycles for long-term motivation. Plan your tasks or goals in dopamine cycles. Begin with something easy and satisfying to stimulate dopamine, then move to a moderately challenging task. Afterward, incorporate something truly difficult, but then end with a reward-based task, something quick and enjoyable. By strategically cycling your tasks, you prevent your brain from becoming too accustomed to one level of expectation. This cycle tricks your brain into constant adaptation, keeping you more engaged rather than burnt out or oversatisfied. 6. Utilize social feedback loops. One underrated yet powerful tool for maintaining dopamine levels is social feedback. Share small wins or progress with a friend, colleague, or online community. The unexpected positive feedback you receive, such as praise or encouragement, can trigger a dopamine surge. This works even better when the feedback is not predictable. For example, rather than seeking regular affirmations, let others surprise you with recognition at unexpected moments, which will amplify your dopamine response. Understanding dopamine prediction error is a game changer in how you view motivation, happiness, and success. It's not just about achieving more, it's about understanding the dynamics of your brain's expectations and learning how to work with them. By embracing the process, finding joy in the small wins, and adjusting your expectations, you can create a more fulfilling and sustainable path towards success. Remember, it's not always about the reward. It's about what you expect and how you adapt. Once you tap into this understanding, you'll be better equipped to handle the ups and downs of motivation and enjoy the journey no matter where it takes you. If this concept resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who could use a little more motivation in their life. Let's keep exploring the fascinating world of human behavior together.